Welcome back to Basic Bananas Radio, where we share tried and tested ways to grow your brand and get more customers. Everything from the latest in marketing and branding, right through to growing your team and creating an irresistible culture.
Hi, and welcome back to Basic Bananas Radio. Today I'm having a conversation with Jim, the founder of Turtlehut. And in this show, he is walking you through the Turtlehut life cycle, which are the 6 phases that you need to consider when it comes to growing your business. And the conversation was really great because you're also given questions that you can ask yourself. And that's always really cool when it comes to coming up with new ideas. So enjoy this show. It's filmed, recorded in a slightly different setting. So if you're on YouTube, you will see that. If you're on an audio version, you can go check out YouTube. Just Google, type in Basic Bananas TV, and you will find the show there to enjoy. And I can't wait to see you again soon. Hey, Jim, and welcome to Basic Bananas Radio. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. And I hope there's not too much background noise. The people that are watching this on YouTube, you can see that I'm sitting in a van here because our signal in my office has been really bad after the cyclone here. So I got a little bit of a lifestyle thing happening here right now. And so there's Jim with his background in a fast car. Where is that? Is that Michigan?
That is Michigan. It's the beaches of Lake Michigan. And we
Wow.
marketed our Corvette because we're one of the fastest ways to grow your business.
Oh, I love that. So Jim is the founder of Turtlehut. And what we're going to do today is Jim is walking us through the marketing life cycle for digital marketing called the Turtlehut life cycle. So Jim, I might just get you to start talking and then I might chime in with some clarifying questions if that's okay.
I think that's a great plan. Yeah, happy to.
Excellent.
Okay, so yes, the life cycle that we came up with here is really something that can apply to almost every business from a digital perspective, certainly. And if you can see the graphic, great, but if not, I will talk all the way through it. We named it after turtles because we're Turtlehut. So each one of them are turtle themed. So we start right there where it says hatching, and hatching is really the foundation. And foundation in our world means the website. So the website needs to be a good quality website with good quality content. So both Google and your customers can fully understand what it is you do. It needs to have good calls to action. So when somebody gets there, they know what they're supposed to do when they get there, i.e. are they supposed to purchase? Are they supposed to request a free quote? They need more information. They want to download something, whatever that is, they need to know what they're going to do. And it needs to have good tracking. So when we do get somebody to the actual website, we want to know how we got them there and if they did what we wanted them to do or not, so we know what we're doing is working or not, and we can make adjustments accordingly. From there, we almost always go right into our feeding aspect, and the feeding aspect is really advertising, search engine-based advertising very specifically, so keyword-based advertising. These are your targets that woke up today with a problem. We want to drive them to a page that says, yes, I can help you solve that problem, of course, with a good call to action on that page. So when they get there, they know what they're supposed to do with that problem. And of course, the tracking part. So we can then measure what our cost per lead is or our cost per sale is through that. From there, we move into the growing section, which is really like retention.
I might interrupt you, Jim, if that's all right, and ask a few questions on the feeding one. So I love that. I love, hatching. I think most business owners, most listeners, they're sort of, they got the hatching, they got a website, they probably have okay call to actions, maybe some landing pages. But then they forget about the feeding. So they're just sitting there now waiting for someone to come and eat. But they need to remember to feed, what you're saying here. Now, you said keyword-based advertising, paid advertising. First of all, what are some of your favorite channels at the moment? And what you mentioned some of the measurables, some of the things that businesses need to track. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that too?
Yeah, happy to. And certainly in this aspect of feeding, we're really in our world are talking about search engine based advertising. So we're mainly talking about Google and Bing. So these are people that woke up today with a problem, went to a search engine in order to find a solution to that problem, and landing them, of course, on a page that's very related to that problem. So right now, a client we did a lot of work with is does dryer vent cleaning. So if we in the territory that they service, if we buy the keywords dryer vent cleaning and land them on a page that screams, yes, I do dryer vent cleaning where you're at, we then want to measure if they convert. And in that case, it might be a phone call we're looking for, or a specific web form to schedule an appointment or something along those lines. So we can go all the way back to the ROI, as you're talking about, or the measurable of what is my cost per lead, or if it was an online store, it would be cost per sale. But what did it cost in order to get that click all the way through into our conversion?
Excellent. Great. And then what's next?
Next is the growing or retention concept. And honestly, this is where I think a lot of businesses really lose sight of the ROI ability, because this is the idea of people that know you exist, but may or may not have done business with you before. So the idea here is we're going to do retargeting to remind them we exist with ads on different channels. That targeting can be in social media, it can be in the Google network, it can be in any separate network, videos or so on YouTube, that type of thing. It can also be things like email newsletters. So we have their information, or email drip marketing campaigns. Reminding people that we exist and they may or may not want to do business with us again. Also, social media presence is very important in this area. And so you already got some recognition with the customer, and then if you don't capitalize on that recognition and this growing and retention concept, you're kind of just throwing money away. So a lot of people, really in my world, I see it very often where they skip what we call the feeding, which is the search engine advertising. So if you woke up today and started the business, you had no customers, you of course want to feed them and get people that already today have a problem that they need to solve, because they're most likely to buy from you immediately. That can get very expensive over some period of time on a per click basis. Versus once you have people that know you exist, staying in front of them, retouching them can be a very, very cost-effective way to continue doing business with them, versus constantly have to start people at the top of the funnel and work their way down.
And which channels do you like to use for retargeting? Do you use the Google advertising, or do you have any other recommendations for our listeners? And also, were you meant to share your screen still?
Yes. Do you not see my screen?
No, at the moment I am for some reason not seeing it anymore. Maybe you can reshare it.
You can certainly try that. Pay no attention to the technical difficulties.
There we go. It's coming now again.
Good.
Perfect. So in terms of remarketing, so we're in phase 3, the growing phase. What sort of remarketing tools or any other tools would you recommend for our listeners to use?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of wrote through the high level of it, where I think a lot of value really lies here that people lose sight of is going down the social media paths. It depends on who your target demographic is, which one of those social media paths would make the most sense. But the idea that you got somebody already to the website, they were interested in whatever capacity, using that to buy likes so that they know and follow you on social media, so you have a much better way to continue to reach out to them over a period of time without consistently having to pay for that message to reach them. So it allows you to very cost effectively build up that social media base. So many times I find people that, oh yeah, we post 3 times a week and they're all proud of it. And then you look and they have 10 followers and you go, there's no value into you taking the trouble to post, because you're only going to reach 5 or 10% of those people organically. And that's not enough. You're spending way too much, time there thinking you're doing something of value and you're really not offering it. You need to get the followers up in order to get more value from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree. Great. And then?
So this next area we call stretching, and that's really what I look at as broadcasting, or I like to call it plant the seed type of advertising. So this is where you say, okay, who's my target demographic that doesn't know today that they have a problem, but I want to reach out to them and let them know that, hey, I have a solution to what you didn't know if you have a problem. So if we use like a local service, like an electrician, in the feeding area, the search engine advertising, we would buy the keyword somebody looking for an electrician, or we would buy somebody looking to install a generator or something, a service an electrician would provide. In the stretching and broadcast area, we would reach out to the target demographic, homeowner, $100,000 income in my general radius, and we would want to plant the idea like, do you want a ceiling fan installed? Have you looked for more outdoor lights? right? So some other idea that, yeah, they didn't know they had a problem, but then they see that that's a great idea. I've always wanted a ceiling fan. I didn't realize they could just call somebody as an electrician and install that for them. So we're going to plant the idea in their head that they did have a problem, even though they didn't know when they woke up to it. Or using the same generator example for electrician, somebody woke up to me and said, gosh, I'm sick of losing power. I want a standby generator set up in my home. That's in the, I'm going to buy that keyword in Google. The flip of that would be during storm season, planting the seed in that same demographic with, are you sick of losing power? Contact us so we can have this not happen to you again. So again, planting the idea that there's a solution to a problem that they didn't necessarily know existed.
Love it. Great.
From there, we end up with the sunning or branding concept. And again, this is going to depend. This is really goes in the circle from highest to lowest ROI. But what the idea here is to buy advertising or buy branding to your target demographic when they don't have a problem. So we're not necessarily looking for an ROI in this short term, but long term, we're of course looking for an ROI by being top of mind. So a good example here might be I have a chiropractic client. And so they're a chiropractor. They do local service in a general area. And of course, not everybody woke up today with back pain. But so if they did, again, going through my circle, we would buy the term chiropractor or back pain. And you go all the way through this and we do our retention and stretching. When we get to the sunning idea, it's just going to remind their brand. So when that person does go to the golf course this weekend and tweaks their back and they go Google for a solution, they're going to go, I've heard of that company. They must do really good work. And so the idea is that top of mind brand. So when they do have a problem, we're going to stay top of mind. And then we finish out our life cycle, of course, because it's all named after turtle things, with the laying eggs concept. And this is really like new initiatives. So because we started with hatching, the laying eggs idea is what's changed different? Are we offering a new product, a new service? Is it a new area we're doing business in? Whatever those things would be. Once we figure out what that egg is, of course, we have to hatch it, then we have to feed it, then we have to grow it, then we have to stretch it, and eventually get to sunning of that new initiative of that egg.
And the sunning, what I understand, what you're saying, so top of mind branding, it's kind of awareness marketing that you're talking about, top of funnel marketing to feed the whole funnel again. So to feed the feeding, to go back into feeding with new audiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we do it in this for small businesses. We do it with this idea. I mean, obviously we've heard of these major brands, Frito-Lay or Anheuser-Busch or whatever these brands are. And they have all this marketing dollars that they're at the point of they're just doing branding, right? They're not trying to get a call to action to have you buy their particular product because they have brand recognition. You can find it all over the place. They've saturated that market. So now they're just in that branding, always stay top of mind. But when we talk about a small business, they don't have that brand recognition yet. So we want to, of course, build that cycle in a way that, okay, we start generating leads first, continue that into more business, and eventually get to a point where, yes, in their market, they do want to have brand recognition in their target customers. But if sometimes people kind of do these things in a backwards order and find out the hard way that you can't necessarily build brand recognition without some customers first, because it's not going to be cost effective. So you kind of have to start, at the top and work your way through this in order to use the best marketing spend for your dollars.
I like the sequence here because we often see, people talk about how, and again, it depends on your budgets, but a lot of people kind of start almost in the wrong sequence. They do start with brand awareness campaigns where there's zero call to action, zero leads, zero money coming in. Whereas how you do it, because you work with small businesses who are our listeners here and our members, you say, hey, let's make money first with lead campaigns and sales campaigns. And then once the money is also rolling, we definitely also want to do brand awareness to reach more people. And then the feeding campaigns will become cheaper also because people have already seen you. So I like this cycle. I think it's really effective, efficient for smaller businesses, especially also. And we are going to share the graphic also for anyone listening. We'll share it as a downloadable. You can also check it on YouTube, the video here that Jim has talked you through the cycle. Jim, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you would love to share with our listeners?
Well, I could talk marketing for the rest of my life, but I think that at the high level, that's kind of the strategy we'd like to take clients through, the start to finish through that circle. So yeah.
What's one action that you, if out of all these 6 phases, steps, what is one thing that you would love our listeners to do right now?
So ironically, we started saying, yeah, everybody has a website, and that part generally is true. But if they they should analyze it from their prospective customers' perspective, not what they think they know. And so often I see these websites that people think are fantastic, but if you're the customer, you don't even know where to look. I land on some websites and I go, I don't even know what this company does, right? I can't even tell what their services are. And they think they have this really pretty website with all this stuff happening because it was so designed from a, how cool can we look? And we know our industry so well, not what my customer's actually trying to solve. And so I think looking at and approaching the website, again, that's why we start with that as the hatching concept. Almost always, if somebody walks in our office, we start by rehashing their website, because there's not good landing pages that best articulate what it is that the customer, the company does well enough to land somebody there and actually get results. So as basic and foundational as it sounds, I really recommend starting there and looking there and talking to people, showing it to people that are not in your space, that don't know you. What does this company do? If they don't think it's yours, you'll be amazed. I don't know what they do. I have no idea. Oh, then blah, blah, blah. You're like, no, that's not even what we do. That's so funny. You don't understand it. So you really need to scream what it is you do. The customer isn't going to take the time to research what they think you do. You just want to know, are you going to answer and solve my problem quickly or not?
That's great, because then also they won't be wasting their money on really bad return on the investment once people go to the website. So maybe a really cool idea from you is to talk to people, get them to go to the website, get them to tell you, hey, what are we all about? Spend 7 seconds on the website. What does it tell you? And maybe even use a tool like Hotjar or any other of the tools that track what people's actions are on your website. So you can just do a quick, maybe for 7 days or 14 days, a quick analysis on where are people going, is it working, are they going to the right spots, and then adjust that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
exactly.
Great. Thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate you taking the time today, your evening, I believe it is right now, to be here. And well, you're off to Hawaii. I was meant to be in Hawaii too for our leadership summit, but I will see you probably in Ireland, if not before. And one last thing, where can people reach you? So we'll pop the link to your website, which is turtlehut.com. Are you on LinkedIn also, or where would you like people to?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer any emails. I'm just jim@turtlehut.com.
Right, awesome. We'll put that in the show notes too. And as always, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks you, the listener, for tuning in. And if you find this useful, please feel free to share it with anyone else. Thanks so much. Bye for now.
To get more from Basic Bananas and to learn new ways to grow your business with clever marketing, visit basicbananas.com.